Maxes, how you doing? We're going to go through some licks today, but we're going to map out our way to play through the pentatonic scale. In order for you to play in other places of the pentatonic and create a lot of licks of your own, and we're going to use simple licks today to do this. So essentially our mission statement, get through the pentatonics and have a good time and not just play in position number 1. That's what we're going to really focus on. So I'm going to have, of course, a PDF of all the scale shapes to go through. I'm going to keep my licks fairly simple today so that way we can map them out. It's a really effective way to realize that a lot of the times we have the same notes reoccurring everywhere on the guitar within these shapes, and we don't really think of it that way. So let's just dive in. If we're playing position number 1, and I'm playing through this, now I'm thinking to myself, as I play this scale, I have an A here, and I have an A here. Now, a lot of the licks that we play sound like this. That includes that blues note. But I keep going back to my A in any kind of fashion that I want to do that. Now, if my third finger is resolving to this A, put this guy down here, and I'm going to be able to recreate everything that I just played in that position in that position. And that's really, really helpful for me to be able to be acquainted with realizing from a low to high position I can get back to that note. I can do that same thing. And we all, you know, not all, but as guitar players, as we go through these things, we see people do them. We learn them in songs, tabs from other people. And it's that extension people will often refer to. And I always tell people in the beginning, you know, you learn your licks. Things that are kind of rooted in tradition that sound similar to this, right? And we think to ourselves, I have licks that are these notes on the high end, and I have licks on the low end, but they're all the same notes. So I have same notes, same notes, same notes, all connected with this neat little sidewalk of this low to high movement. And that really accomplishes a lot for me. And one other thing that is super important is to quickly realize that if I just take this A and I move it to the 12th fret, and I'm going to be on the 5th string, so I'm just taking it down one string, I get all the same stuff. We have to accommodate the scale positions, but I move low to high exactly the same, and from that's where I'm going to end up. Now, this is the 4th form of your minor pentatonic scale, and this is where, in a moment, we're going to go through some other licks. But within that 4th form, because of the way, if you want to associate it, the way the guitar is tuned, you know, from the 3rd string to the 2nd string, I got to jump up a fret, making it when I resolve to my middle finger. If I'm here, these are all A's. I'm resolving to my 3rd finger, except for this one. But all these licks, these are all things that I do in the 1st position, but now I'm up here in this place and I'm just kind of messing around. I'm getting associated with the same feeling that I would do here, but I'm here, and it's replicated the same. Right? We'll play that slow. And that's how I can go through that, but it's the same. That's what I'm really trying to think to myself. The other thing that is really, really helpful is to take a lick like this, mixed with our blues lick, and simplify that and move it all over the place. So, in the 2nd form of your minor pentatonic, if I start there in my 1st, put your 1st finger on that sucker and go down this way. Exact same notes. That is form 2 of your pentatonic. That is, if I map the scale, 8, 10, 7, 10, 7, 10, 7, 9, 8, 10, 8, 10. And that gives me same as this. You can do that too. You're finding your way around to really realize that so many of these notes are repetitive all over the dang place. And as I go, maybe I'll go up. That's the same as I'm moving things in that kind of a way, just repetition, a lot of the same notes. Remember, when you add a pentatonic scale, your first notes are all the bottom of the previous scale. That's really, really important to think of. People don't think about that sometimes. You know, just the simplest thing to really accommodate. First shape, but that's all. So you can play around in that shape and have a good time, and you're not really too sweating it because you don't have to go back. You can do it here. And you're more comfortable in a different spot. Now, the third form of your minor pentatonic is what we started with a moment ago. Now, within that, we got to think of the third shape. I love that. That's kind of a Clapton-y thing. And we can play around in that area. It's a beautiful spot to play. It's got a nice tone to it. And eventually I can work my way back. And we've done these in some of these other videos. Combining different things. But what we want to first off accomplish is minor pentatonic, getting out of that position of number one by taking things that are familiar and seeking out those notes and recreating them in other places. By visualizing, you start here and you move it here, you can recreate some of the same things immediately if you're familiar with the shape, and that's really important. It's not so hard to find. When you go into another scale shape, it gets easier when you start with maybe changing whatever note you played with the bottom by making it with your index. Explaining it in the easiest way possible. Your subconscious will react differently in various places of the pentatonic scale, giving you other phrasing choices that you might not play if you're just typically playing in position one. So these ideas are really simple. I'm going to go through and play some now in various places, and you can stop and repeat these things as we go. So the first one. 13th fret. That's form number 3. And we want to make sure and recreate all of those kinds of things. If I started here. All these ways we can take this thing down and resolve it. Where else can we do that thing? I almost threw a different lick at you, I gotta say, and I'm not gonna edit that later, so I'll just be honest, I almost started jamming. Okay, so we have all these places. Really important to find all of those kind of notes, and you see the path that we're taking here. I love the third form. Maybe bending that G, just going straight up. Right there to that A. And we're just working our way back into that first position. So not a lot of crazy licks today. Concepts. We're talking concepts. Things that will hopefully shed some light on the pentatonic scale and ways that we could get around in it. I appreciate it, everybody. Amps and axes, licks of the week, ideas of the week, all the hits and more. I'll see you next time. Thank you.